One of my favourite places is the British Museum in London. The central courtyard is stunning. Right in the middle there is the old British Library reading room, and you can go into there now, and you can also of course see all the wonderful collections that the museum has, including a very fine collection of artifacts from ancient Egypt, including these household goods. But when I was last there, I saw this small ceramic hippopotamus. It was probably made nearly 4,000 years ago. As is the way of these things today, the museum have made replicas of this little hippo, and here is one such. I couldn't resist buying it. It isn't 4,000 years old, but I think it's great. It's got the same markings and the same colouring. But what really interested me about this little friendly hippo was when I was visiting my son in Cape Town in South Africa, which keen geographers will know is right at the opposite end of the continent of Africa from Egypt. Because there, on sale, here are modern day little ceramic hippos, even including the similar colour too, amongst the many colours that they have. And I thought to myself, isn't this amazing? That over a period of 4,000 years, people in Africa have been making little ceramic hippos. You know, when we read about people living in ancient times, they really weren't different from us. They liked the same things, and they had the same aspirations. Sure, they didn't have iPods, they didn't have webcams, they didn't have the internet, but they had a lot of ordinary, everyday things that you and I have, as you saw on the cabinet in the British Museum. They had chairs and boxes and all that sort of stuff. Thing is that it makes me realise that when I'm reading something like the Bible, and in the Old Testament, when I read about people and how they lost it on occasions, and how others did great things, and others showed great faith and believed that God had told them to do this, that and the other, and they did it, and everything worked out, those people weren't any different from me. I have not met a 3-metre tall giant like David, but David was basically like me, except I've never been a shepherd and he's never been an administrator, I suppose, except perhaps as a king. And there is such a link when we read anything that's from a long time ago, when we read something that's nearer, like Tolstoy or Dickens. These people weren't writing about different creatures from us. The human experience has been there right from the word go, and it's been a continuum through history. And that means that when we look back, the wisdom of the ages is available to us, and the wisdom of the ages is just as relevant to us in the 21st century as it was back 4,000, 3,000, 2,000, 1,000 years ago. So that's just something to think about. My Hippo Connection. It may have taken 4,000 years, for all I know, for little clay hippos to march all the way down from Egypt to Cape Town. But the great thing is that during that journey, everybody who saw them, or most people, liked them and found them irresistible, to the extent that they would want them made and then they would buy them. I think that's great. So let's hear it for the hippos.